Hey, what's up out there? Facebook, YouTube, LFX Media Live. Welcome to the podcast, Black Wall Street, the Supernova. How y'all doing out there? I want to thank you for joining on Facebook, The Rico Verdict, on YouTube, LFX Media. Subscribe, like, comment, share. We're going to give people time to get in the room for this. Probably be the last podcast for uh, Black History Month, and we've come to the end of a 30-day challenge as well. We'll talk about that. No fried foods, no salt. We tried to do the no sugar, couldn't do that, but but no, seriously. The no fried foods has definitely it'll give you a leaner look, and it's not like I needed to lose any weight, but clear mind, no saturated fats. uh, 2 more days we got, and we'll be done with the no fried foods, no salt. But changing your uh, diet, changing any of your habits, we all know 30 days is the the difference in breaking a habit and forming a habit. So that's why you see a lot of 30-day challenges. But to take it even further, we may go further than 30 days and just call it a life change. But we'll see. But so far, the no fried foods for 30 days has been bueno, working out pretty good. So if you can hear me on Facebook, if you can hear me on YouTube, I'm checking the comments to see if you can hear me, and also live streaming on lfxmedia.live. Um, I meant to leave the link in the post in the Facebook post, but we're multi-streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and our own platform. We actually streamed Black History Month at Bethel's Family Church, which was very powerful. The kids performed. Uh, my grand, she sang. Shout out to Raya and her mom, Asia, Mandy, Monet, Nate, whole family, my whole gang. I tagged everyone, so hopefully you're tapped into the podcast. Again, we're talking about Black Wall Street, the Supernova, and you see. I want to I want to present a picture. I want to show a picture, you guys, that I put in the post, but I want to put it up so you can see what Black Wall Street consisted of. Several hundreds of businesses. Um, Black Wall Street um, in Tulsa, they had a visit from Booker T. Washington. He had actually, around Tuskegee, formed 4,000 square feet, and it was a black business district. So he came to Tulsa and ignited a passion within them to create a district for themselves. Now, Tulsa, I'm in Houston. So if you take 45 South going to Oklahoma, 45 South will take you right through Tulsa. It's about a 7 hour drive. Oklahoma sits flat on top of Texas. If you look at the map and look at Texas, right above us is Oklahoma. And in the middle of Oklahoma is Tulsa. in Greenwood Street. Um, when Booker T. Washington came to Tulsa and gave them the idea, uh, the guy that helped him form the 4,000 square feet around Tuskegee, his last name was Green. So Greenwood Avenue, that's where that comes from. Greenwood Avenue actually goes straight across the north end of Oklahoma, of Tulsa. So the black community prided themselves in Greenwood Avenue, which went straight across and only in the black area, so they didn't have to go into the white areas of Tulsa. So they prided themselves in that. But Viola Fletcher, who today is 108 years old, she testified before Congress in May of 2021, and she was there with her brother, who was actually 100 years old himself. So she was 108, he's 100. And there was another surviving member from the massacre that was 106 years old, and her name was Leslie Randall. So they all testified in front of Congress and talked about the need for reparations for the bombing and the massacre that took place in Oklahoma. And uh, between 75 and 300 people were killed. And I'm not sure why it's such a big gap in narrowing it down, how many people got killed, but it was a massacre that came from the sky. And me doing the research for Black Wall Street, when I went to Black Wall Street, I saw books, I saw movies, I saw TV shows. So me being the person who digs in the rabbit hole, um, I found a series which is actually called The Watchmen. And Regina King actually played a superhero that drove an 87 Regal, which was interesting. Um, the first episode, season one of The Watchmen, actually shows a little boy, probably 5 years old, maybe 6 years old, sitting in a theater watching silent movies. And him watching the silent movies, that's what they had at that time in the early 1900s. And he was lip syncing, or he was actually speaking what they were saying on the screen. The words were coming across. It was a silent movie, of course. But as he was enjoying the movie, suddenly bombs start hitting the city, and bombs start hitting the theater that he was in. Now, the theater, let me talk about the theater, because in the city of Tulsa on Greenwood Ave, they had a theater called Dreamland. And Dreamland actually was in the epicenter of Black Wall Street. So all of the businesses, they found uh, Dreamland to be a place where they can go, enjoy themselves, get dressed up, come to the theater. It was a two-story brick building, laced out, real nice looking. So it connected all the businesses and the families of Black Wall Street. And this is where, they went to go see silent movies and whatever was presented at the theater. So and I'm talking about Watchmen. Again, if you just tuned in, Watchmen, the series that Regina King plays a superhero, in which uh, the kid that I'm talking about was actually during uh, early 1900s. So fast forward from the bombing of Tulsa, we go to, I think it was 2021, where the Watchmen and Regina King uh, starts to unfold. So the kid that was in the bombing actually was played by Louis Gossett in an older age. When we fast forward, he's in a wheelchair. He's one of the surviving kids of the bombing, and Regina King, she's trying to figure out his connection to Black Wall Street, because reparations was the thing that she was trying to get taken care of, getting, these people paid or whatever. So she actually, I don't know if she tricked him, but I just saw he was drinking some coffee, and she took the coffee mug and put it in a Ziploc, and she took it to this place where um, you had an automated or a bot that talked to you. And she said the name of the guy who was in a wheelchair, played by Louis Gossett. She said his name, and she had a little Q-tip swab that she swabbed the coffee mug. So in swabbing the coffee mug, she sent his DNA through the machine, and she put her phone number in there. So she got a phone call while she was with him, and the call said, "Yes, you are in the family of people that are due reparations." So the bot asked Regina King if she wanted to say any names of people that were in her family, and she said her own name. So when she said her own name, and this is identifying her as a direct relative, so I guess spoiler alert. When she said her name, then the bot or the computer said, yes, you are the guy's name who she mentioned, you are his granddaughter. So um, what's going on, JPad checking in from uh, the end of his 100 beats journey. He's out selling beats. He's in Cleveland. Shout out to Pad. Tap in if you get a chance, Pad. Like to hear about what's going on in Cleveland with those 100 beats. Yes, sir. You are in line with the content kings. And yeah, just uh how we dig in rabbit holes, I was just looking for information on Black Wall Street, and I found The Watchmen, which I didn't know was directly related to Black Wall Street. So it was a fun journey. I only watched one episode, and I think I posted about the Watchmen, and people had different opinions of how they felt about the series. I just felt, me being a writer, I'm in the midst of writing a screenplay myself right now. So me being a writer, and um, this guy that wrote The Watchmen and directed The Watchmen, he got an Emmy. So I said, that tipped my interest. And I said, well, let me just tune in. I got HBO, and paying for it. So might as well watch something on it. So tuned into The Watchmen, and I liked it. So it's something that I'll probably finish up. And if you get a chance, you know, tune in and check out The Watchmen. Excuse me. So yeah, without a doubt, we want to thank everyone who's here through Facebook, like, share, comment. Everyone who's here through LFX Media YouTube channel, subscribe to the YouTube channel, like, comment, share. Let's get this thing popping because we are the content kings. So, like I said, uh, the actual location of Tulsa is only 7 hours from here. We can go straight up 45 South and get right to Tulsa, And my other podcast partner, Antho the Great, he's out in motion as well. So I'm holding it down for the whole staff, LFX Media. He actually has some property in Oklahoma, and he'll tell you about that, and his investments when he either taps in, or we'll talk about it at another pod. But getting back to the actual fact, what went down in Tulsa. And before we get into what went down, these are the streets that uh, pretty much made up Black Wall Street. It's Greenwood Street, Archer Street, and Pine Street. So if it sounds familiar, Greenwood, Archer, Pine, GAP, the Gap Band. This is where they grew up in Tulsa. So they decided to name their group after pretty much Black Wall Street, Greenwood, Archer, and Pine, GAP. And if you never knew what the song "You Dropped a Bomb on Me" really represented, it was the bombing and massacre at Black Wall Street. So there's a hot take for you. And like I said, between 75 and 300 people were killed. 5,000 homes were destroyed. So um, Black Wall Street actually consisted of 10,000 um, black residents at the time of this massacre. So you can imagine this was total annihilation. 5,000 homes, almost 300 people killed, and they're dropping bombs from up above, dropping bombs on people's heads. So keep that in mind. And this was one of the largest massacres in U.S. history. And they did try to rebuild it. And from the time that the bombing happened to 1941, they actually got 240 black businesses back built up. So after 1941, there was a thing that happened where they started splitting up neighborhoods, and desegregation came into effect. So the attempt to rebuild and remake Black Wall Street failed because they divided and conquered our people. So that's why um, the title is called Black Wall Street, the Supernova. Supernova is a star with a certain amount of pressure. The star explodes. That's what a supernova is. And that's what happened at Black Wall Street. Within minutes, the whole place was destroyed over something that they claimed um, a black kid um, assaulted a white woman in a elevator. So it was just an excuse for them to come in and just drop bombs like Hiroshima. So, um, like I said, the roots of Black Wall Street in 1906, which is 1 year after Booker T. Washington came and visited him and told him about what he had. helped create, you know, in near Tuskegee. So um, Greenwood Avenue running north, over a mile. Um, they prided themselves in not having to go into the white neighborhoods, and I think um, overstepping their boundaries, that was one of the main causes of this pressure that the white citizens, um, they wanted Black Wall Street to mostly stay in their lane. That's what it was about. Black Wall Street was expanding, and they wanted them to stay in their lane. And this is something that we have to look at as Black people. Um, we have to stick together. Once we stick together, there's strength in numbers. So by us letting people come in and separate us, that is our biggest downfall. So absolutely. I'm looking in the comments to see who's in the building on Facebook, who's in the building on YouTube, LFX Media, our own platform that we're building. And again, anybody who's a content creator, if you have a talk show, if you have a podcast, whatever you got going on, let us know, and we can get your content shared on the platform, which it's a custom platform. It's a TV channel basically. So we're moving away from being slaves to these other platforms, and I discussed the monetization on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all of these and especially YouTube. I've been studying YouTube for quite some time, and the amount that YouTube pays you is 0.003 cents, which is not even a penny per view. So in order for you on YouTube to get um, $5,000 to $7,000, you got to get 1 million views. So with it not even being a penny that you're earning, my question is, where's the other 99 cents? I got monetized on Facebook to do reels. The first month I did 12,000 views on my reels. What they decided to pay me was $4.80 out of those 12,000 views. So I kept going, and I built a lot of momentum with putting these reels out. And um, it's just market research. That's what we're doing. I mean, having streams of income, once you see that you can get income from Facebook or YouTube or Instagram, wherever. Um, Also, we're monetized on Anchor. So we get paid for the podcast. If you go on Anchor and listen to, I've got 40 shows since 2018. So LFX Media, it's not a new thing at all. I mean, the actual company goes back to 2005, the Lake Effect. And we just took the Lake Effect and put the words into initials. LFX stands for the Lake Effect. But I've been doing podcasts on Anchor since 2018. Um, LFX Media, the blog, where I consider myself the journalist. That's my pen name for blogging. 2011, that's when I started that. So if you want to go check some of my older blogs, LFX Media blogspot. you can catch some of my old blogs there, and from time to time I post them, so people can check them out. But the history of my journalism, um, we can go back to the '90s with it for real. But again, thank you for coming out. Facebook, YouTube, LFX Media live. For some reason, I can't see the comments on our custom platform, so I have to check with tech support. But you can comment on YouTube, you can comment on Facebook. Let me know that you're in the building. If you have any questions, if you have any comments, drop it in the comments. So, yeah, definitely, we've had a great Black History. Um, Black History Month, and a lot of people complain that it's the shortest month of the year, and I don't want to celebrate because Black History is every day. So all I say is let's take advantage of what's being provided. I'm not saying what's given to us is being provided. So why not? That's what I've done all month. I've dropped Black History photos from the journey from Jerusalem, uh, the first Black businesses that were on Parade Street, um, the first Black funeral home. A lot of things that is gotten quite an appreciation. So I thank you guys for liking, for commenting, for sharing. I believe the last post that I did was the Taylor Funeral Home, and it's shared over 30 times, 150 likes, and we don't do this for likes. We do this just to spread love. And even there was a few negative comments, and what I said in the comment. Um, there's probably some negative things that you could say about me. There's probably some negative things you can say about the Taylor family that I posted. And there's probably some negative things about yourself, you know. So we definitely want to keep that in mind, that the reason that we're doing this is to recognize Black businesses. And even the churches, some of the churches weren't even Black churches. It was a church in Wesleyville that played a big part in the Underground Railroad, Wesleyville Methodist Church. And a lot of people don't even know that the Underground Railroad was really overground. It was just a situation where um, certain buildings, slaves were hidden. Slaves were like the Wesleyville Church. From there, people were going across the lake into Canada, across Western New York, and escaping. And that's what the Underground Railroad was about. So um, we're coming to the end of Black History Month, but don't let it stop there. Keep celebrating, keep elevating, and just remember that uh, the pioneers that came to Erie, in which the city that I was born in. So we want to give honor and respect to the pioneers that left, some of them on foot, some of them on trails, that made it to Erie and made history as business people, as families. Some of the first families, um, the Black families, gathered on West 11th Street. So um, a lot of the roots of the Black families, West 11th Street. But through the book that I read, and I also posted a picture of the Bladen family who actually had 40 acres, 40 acres uh, in Mill Creek and off Cherry Extension, Bladen Road. I believe those were some of the last slave owners right there, the Bladen family. But um, being that Erie never equaled up to more than 10% of minorities, you know, and it was built up from less than 1%. So it's under 10% now, but it got up to 10% of minorities within the city. And, it started with one. And the first actual Erie resident that was a black person, they didn't even have a last name for him in this journal. And the person's name was Quasi, 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 the first black resident in Erie County. So we just want to drop jewels on you. We want you to know that we come from kings and queens. So don't let anybody destroy the fire that you have within yourself. Um, Strength in numbers. We just want to keep it going. And we do appreciate you again for coming out. It's been a busy day. I just wanted to pause real quick and touch on Wall Street and the legacy. Um, Go out and check out The Watchmen if you get a chance. Again, um, my boy uh, Al the chemist, Smitherman, his family was involved in Black Wall Street. I sent him a link if he happens to join. I was waiting around to see if he might pop up, but his family was involved in Black Wall Street, and who knows how many of our roots go back to Black Wall Street. So that's another thing that we want to do in this year, tracing our DNA and seeing farther than our grandfather or great grandfather. You know, we want to go back 5, 6, 7, 8 generations and find out the tree that we came from. Definitely. So, again, I want to thank you guys for participating. I want to thank you for being on Facebook, on YouTube, and on our own platform. Uh, we've built quite a platform just in a few months. We have um, LFX Media, the podcast. We have over 20 hours of content from the podcast that we've done since we started the platform. Uh, Custom beat talk. We have over 10 hours of that. So when you go to lfxmedia.live, you can watch on demand. You can watch LFX Media, the podcast. You can watch the social experiment. I believe the social experiment has like 15 hours. You can go to Streets T, which just started dropping some pods, but definitely um, the most recent podcast that they did on Streets T got over 2,000 views. And, be on the lookout for Streets T podcast. Um, Also, we have a music show called The Woke Show. These are all on demand. But as far as live streaming, we went live today, in which the the content that we play daily, this daily schedule, if I live stream, then it'll actually interrupt the daily schedule, and it'll show you what's being streamed live. So if you want to go check out any of those podcasts, you can go check them out and watch them on demand. or you can go to watch live and see what we have playing presently. So I'm gonna get out of here because I've got to go to a football game, the Houston Roughnecks. I'll get a little live streaming from there as well. We'll be on University of Houston campus. Um, yep, the NFL's over, so we're going to what's next, the Houston Roughnecks. So definitely stay tuned. I'm gonna be tapping in with you when we get to the stadium. Uh, thank you guys again. We got a couple more days left with this fried foods challenge and no salt, and we'll let you know how it ended for all of us. And stay tuned. If you didn't know, now you know. Peace. See you next show.